Hey, and welcome to How to Optimize Your Listing. This module is really interesting because we've basically been working the whole time in order to optimize our listing correctly. And what that means is when a lot of people create a listing from scratch, well, first you should know every listing created on Amazon starts in the same spot. It's what I like to call starts at zero. And it's the listings that are created correctly typically are the ones that succeed. And that doesn't mean keyword stuffing like other courses teach. This actually just means aligning your listing to what Amazon customers are searching for, but in a way that will build a win-win-win situation. So you've been asking Amazon this whole time, what are people searching for? You've collected that data, and now you're going to apply it to your listing so that you're not guessing, so that you know exactly what people are searching for, how they're searching it, and how they're perceiving it in their head. So this is my How to Optimize Your Listing module. The first thing I want to say is conversions are king. Okay, and what does that mean? That means when you're creating your listing, you want to think through, it's better to have 10 potential customers land on your page and 5 of them buy for a 50% conversion rate than it is to have 1,000 customers land on your page and 7 of them buy. Now that might sound weird because you think, well, 7 sales are better than 5 sales, Brett. Well, that's not necessarily true. Amazon likes conversion rates much more than they like just overall sales. So your item that has 10 people coming to it but 5 people buying will eventually outperform the products that have thousands of people going to it but a very low conversion rate. Amazon doesn't actually like that. So keep in mind how we're going to optimize our listing. We're going to optimize our listing for conversions. So looking through this a little bit, the title has the heaviest weight for sure, without a doubt, when it comes to conversion. So the perfect formula is you find your word with the highest clicks. So remember when we looked at our sponsored ad, we want our one that has the highest clicks or highest click-through percentage plus the one with the highest traffic. But I put it in that order: highest clicks plus highest traffic. I don't like the highest traffic first, which would be impressions, just because if you get a ton of traffic but not a lot of people buy and not a lot of people interested, it actually hurts your Amazon listing. Next is your back-end search terms. We have those. We now have our back-end search terms. We have them on, they're the other sponsored ads that we were running. Now we actually know what people are searching for, so we can go back in and put in new search terms. And I'll go through this process with you guys. I'll show you exactly where everything goes. If you have a picture, your picture should focus on the search term if possible. So what that means is understand exactly what people are searching for. For example, this one's surfboard wax. So if in some capacity I could include a picture that encompasses surfboard wax, that makes it really clear it's wax for surfboards, that'd be ideal. You don't always have to do that, but keep in mind this is all a process deriving from the search terms, so you really want to put a heavy weight on those and not make your picture something where it doesn't make sense to the search term that you're applying it to. Product features should support your title for conversion, and what that means is, again, all of this stuff is built off of what I call anchors, and I'll show you our anchors. We'll revisit them, but you don't want to stray from that stuff because that's the whole reason you collected this data. Your product description should focus on conversions. And what that means is a lot of people use product descriptions to keyword stuff. That's a terrible place to keyword stuff. What you should do in your product description is really close the sale. If a person's at that point and reading your product description, it really I like to keep it. A lot of people like to make it really, really long. I kind of do the opposite. I don't want to lose the sale. So I make it short and sweet so that they can read it and get through it and purchase. Like I said before, your price typically increases or decreases your velocity. So keep in mind now you can actually use that as a lever. So if sales are slow, decrease your price a little bit. If sales are really booming, see if you could actually increase your price and maintain the sale velocity. Always put it on sale, even if your sale. Let's say you would typically sell it at $14.99. Put the list price at $24.99 and then put it on sale for $14.99. All right, let's go to our product creation template. So up here, this is the one we've been working off of. I always recommend doing it off this template, and I'll try to get you guys a PDF of these templates. But up here, we have our anchor search terms, and this is what we grabbed in order of importance from our sponsored ads. So you have our anchor search terms up here. First one, surfboard wax. Now that might seem weird that I chose that as the number one search term, but just to refresh our memories, surfboard wax didn't have the most impressions, right? It didn't have the most people looking for it, but it did have my highest click-through rate, and it had my lowest cost per click, which basically means lower competition. And when I'm bringing a product to market, or when I'm looking to sell a product, I really like those ones that I know I can kind of find some niche search terms and get a high conversion rate. And this is the one I actually got a sale against. So All Signs, even though it's not the most traffic oriented one, surfboard wax most likely will be my highest converting one. And I like to start with the highest converting. Amazon, on a new product, when it sees that it converts very well, will typically show it more love. So in order of importance, I actually put surfboard wax. Next was sticky bumps. Then third, even though it was the most traffic, was surf wax. But remember, surf wax had some thorns with it. It was also the most competitive. And so that one's going to be a little bit more of a battle for me to eventually rank for it. Now, I do want to rank for it, and I do want to, give a good push on that one. But, I'm going to put it third because I don't want to spend all this time trying to get one sale under surf wax against this heavy competition when there's two low-hanging fruits right before it. And then fourth was cold water wax. This was one that, it's more niche. It had actually less traffic, everything, but I think it's important to include on there because people are looking for it. And it's a nice little filler until we find some more. So in order of importance, these are our anchor search terms. This is what we're building everything around, guys. This is what we search for. This is what Amazon told us people are looking for. So no more guessing, okay? Amazon told us this is what people are looking for. This is what people are clicking on. This is what people are buying, okay? So now when we optimize our listing, we're going to actually build it around that. Okay, so right here, our product name or our product title, I rewrote it. Okay, and I try to include our anchor search terms. I do not keyword stuff. That's not the point of this because you want to build it for conversion. But you also want to show relevance to not only to your customer, but to Amazon's algorithm. And so product name is Sticky Bump Surfboard Wax Bundle for Cold Water. So basically what I did right there, your first, let's say 4 to 6 words are extremely important in your listing. And what I did was try to include all the, anchor words that we're betting on, but in a way that makes sense to the customer. So Sticky Bumps is a worldwide brand of wax, so most customers are going to get that. Then the next 2 words are surfboard wax. So Sticky Bumps Surfboard Wax Bundle for Cold Water. That pretty much encompasses all the major anchor search terms that I want to go for. It's in the beginning of my title, which should not only help clicks on sponsored ads, it should help relevance in Amazon's organic search. So really I nailed it on that first line, and then I explained the bundle a little bit, and this is where I include surf wax. Surf wax bundle includes 6 different Sticky Bumps cold water surf wax bars. So I was able to get surf wax in there. Even if I had to delete that whole second line, that's not that big of a deal because remember, surf wax is a little bit further down on my to-do list on my listing, but I did find a way to get it into the second line. Again, I don't like the keyword stuff. You do not make your listings irrelevant to the search, but this was a title that was able to work all those in. I'm very used to this process now, But I encourage you guys to try to include as much as possible as long as it makes sense. And if it does not make sense, I actually encourage you guys to only use a couple anchor search terms, because you're actually going to go backwards. It's going to be confusing to your customer. They're not going to understand what it is, and Amazon's not going to understand what it is. Amazon likes to work in logic, and so keyword stuffing is not a good thing on Amazon. It doesn't end up working out long term for you. So make it logical, make it appealing to your customer most of all, but make sure you use all the if you're only going to use two, make sure you use the two best that you've collected your data on. So this is a really important step. The product title, brand name, we kept the same, like I was saying in the last slide. Your price, put it at $29.99. Put it on sale, 50% off. This is the price I actually want to sell at, $14.99. It's the price I already have sold at. It's the average median price of a Surf Wax bundle. So sale price $14.99. You keep your same UPC. Key product features. These features are going to support my title, my anchor words, but you guys don't have to get too hung up on this stuff. Just make it really. This is more making it clear for your customer. Surf Wax made special for cold water, because we know that's important. People search for it. Sticky Bump scented smell. 6 Surf Wax bars in the bundle, just kind of explaining the bundle. But again, they're understanding it's Surf Wax. Surfer's Dream Wax can endure very cold water temperatures. Pretty basic stuff. I don't get really hung up on the key product features. I just make sure they don't, cause a customer to go backwards. They cause them to go forwards. Product description. Kept it very short and sweet still. If you enjoy surfing, Surf Wax special bundle. The bundle comes with 6 premium Surf Waxes. Take the Surf Wax remover out, because we're actually not going to keep this. So basically, guys, what I'm saying is, I think a lot of people, will get hung up on the product description, everything like that. But still, at this point in time, it's not really worth writing this long, super intensive product description. I just actually haven't even really seen that work. It works, but for the sake of what we're doing, it's not the best exercise. You can over time evolve it, but for now, I like to keep it short and sweet. Your search terms. This is actually way more important in my experience. So here what we have, we're going to go back to our backend search terms, and this is very, very debatable. There's about, if you ask 10 big Amazon sellers how they do their search terms on the back end, you'll probably get 10 different answers. I have to base my stuff off of experience. We've tried most other versions. This is going to conflict directly with what most people teach. But guys, I do this every day, and this is the best results we've seen. So that's what I'm going to roll through right now. So your search terms, Amazon section actually says now search terms. It says put your search terms back here. And I actually like to help Amazon. And by that I mean, I think Amazon wants my help in knowing the exact way that I want Amazon to rank and understand the search terms that I want to rank for. And then this is for organic search. So I actually do repeat in the back end, and I've seen that perform much better than not repeating, even though Amazon says don't repeat. This is just something I don't know why this would be, but I'm telling you, we have thousands of SKUs, and this works. So looking at the search terms, we built it around our anchors: surfboard wax, surf wax, cold surf wax, sticky bumps wax, and sticky bump surf wax. These are all built off of our search terms that we've run. Okay, so now going to our listing, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about, because I'm sure it's getting confusing. Let's see here. We have okay, so we have our product name. Sticky Bump Surfboard Wax for cold water. This is the product name that we wrote, so that's pretty self-explanatory. It's in your creation template. All this stayed the same: manufacturer, brand name. This stuff's irrelevant, and it looks like so much stuff, but we actually don't need to put information there, so don't get hung up on that. Don't get stopped on that. Next is your offer. Like we talked about, you have your price, $19.99. I'm doing a merchant fulfill here, so $19.99 plus $5.49 shipping. I put it on sale for $14.99, quantity of 1. If you're doing an FBA, you just wouldn't have the shipping here. But I do encourage you, put it on sale so that Amazon thinks it's a good deal. I've seen that perform much, much better. And then if possible, you want your image to align with your sponsored ad. You really, do everything in your power. If it can't, it can't. But like I said, I know I'm going for surfboard wax. So a surfboard wax would be much more relevant or something that encompassed a surfboard in the picture would be much more relevant to the customer because we know that's what they're searching for. Product description right here, we just kind of copied and pasted in. Like I said, for product description, I like to keep my stuff short and sweet. Other people like to make it really, really long. For we do a lot of different listings. We really have seen with the product description, customers enjoy, getting to the point quicker. A long and lengthy, I guess if you're selling a $300 eye cream, you have to justify why it's a $300 eye cream. For a $14.99 surf wax, the customer doesn't need an 18-page product description. Key product features typically line up with our search terms. Like I said, short and sweet. Basically, this stuff should all just reflect your search terms. But really, at the end of the day, you're just having everything make sense for the customer. You're building it for what they're searching. You're really not building it because you think you're the best copywriter in the world. You're building it because you know what they're searching for, and each one of these things should reflect that. This is the more mechanical part. We filled out the target audience, intended use. This is going to be different for every product you bring in depending on the category you put it in, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one because it would confuse you more than help you. But this is pretty logical stuff. Intended use, surfing, target audience for male and female, subject matter, surfboard wax. So that's pretty easy, but like I said, it'll change for each one. This is the more important part, search terms, okay? It's very key here. Amazon's asking you search terms. It doesn't say keywords. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And it says a text string, 50 characters maximum length is in addition to the valid values that you must submit for your product. And then it actually gives you an example down here, guns locks, kids sleeping bags. It's asking you, how are people going to search for this? Okay? So when people just start to put keywords back here, I don't understand that because it's actually showing you the examples of, hey, look, we kind of want to know, type in exactly what people are going to search for, and that's what will help you rank for. So this is all for ranking organically. You're not only going to have your sponsored ads running and showing up for your sponsored ads, you're going to be showing up organically too. So this is a really important part, and that's why over time we've experienced, hey, look, less is more, make it logical for Amazon included. And if you just try to stuff too much stuff in there, Amazon gets confused along with your customer. So we actually like to make it very, very simple. Now, we typically will include more search terms over time back here. But again, I actually like to start with this. So surfboard wax is our first one. We are repeating, which a lot of people would say, well, why do you repeat? Look, we didn't create Amazon's algorithm. We don't know exactly how it works, but we do know we typically see better results when we do include this again into the search terms. It just revalidates on Amazon that we want surfboard wax. Okay. Next is surf wax. After that is cold surf wax. But see, what we're doing is we're separating the search so that it's exactly in this order. So surf wax, cold surf wax, sticky bumps wax, and sticky bump surf wax. This is all supported by our Amazon sponsored ads. We could put more search terms and fill out the 50 character limit all the way through these lines. But right now, I don't know what else to fill those with. And so that comes back to the remodifying your ad and seeing what other search terms come in. I will not just stuff search terms back here because I think they're good search terms. I don't want to show up. The worst thing you can do for your listing is show up in spaces where customers aren't interested, or put a ton of search terms back here where there are no customers. You see what I'm saying? There's no reason that you should just be guessing on what goes into search terms. You have all the tools to understand it. So you could actually come back to this and edit your search terms and fill it in so that later on when you find 3 more really good search terms, put it in here that are relevant, put it in here that are relevant, put it in here that are relevant, and put it in here. That's what you guys want to do. but it has to be relevant search terms, okay? If you just fill this back end with, space, basically, meaning like you're like, oh, okay, I think this is good, I think this is good, oh, this shows it's good. You don't know that. And what happens is your listing kind of like, it's like a rocket that's blasting up, and then all of a sudden you send it on the wrong trajectory and you miss your spots because Amazon's using this, especially a new listing. Amazon's using this to understand what your listing is. Remember, Amazon's a robot, okay? And they need to understand, hey, what is your listing? This is the spot, and if you send it somewhere else, if you start to just put different search terms back here, and you're like, well, I need to put 50 characters, and I kind of want to show up everywhere, Amazon will have you show up there. But guess what? If you don't convert, Amazon's going to go, uh-oh, we don't like your listing. We're not going to put it in front of those customers anymore. It's not a good thing. So contrary to what most courses teach, especially the big courses, it is better to be relevant back here than to overstuff. Okay, and again, I can show you hundreds of listings that support that fact. But you can add it over time. That's the important thing. Add your search terms over time. Make them logical. Make them make sense. Because, again, Amazon's asking you for search terms, not keywords, and they give you exact examples. The best one right here that I love is kids sleeping bags. That is so specific. Okay, that is so specific. And it's a great example of what Amazon really wants. They want you to do the work to know, hey, we got a gigantic catalog. You tell us what you want to show up for, potentially show up for. If I typed into this like surf, right, or board, and I tried to like do all these things in here, it's gonna be a really, really bad back end search term because Amazon's gonna go like, you're irrelevant. Everything you put back there is irrelevant. So you could hear I get really heated on this just because I think a lot of people do it wrong and they don't understand how Amazon works. And really it just works. It's so simple. Amazon just wants to know what you want to show up for. And it's basically like a tryout. If you perform well, it will show your product to more people. If you perform poorly, it will pull your product back. Okay. That's the most simple way to understand it. But the cool thing is you already know what that people want it in these search terms. That's the whole point of the process. So you and Amazon are on the same team now, as opposed to you guessing or Amazon going against you. You're on the same team now. So everything, it's what I call the trifecta. It's lined up now. You have your Amazon sponsored ads. You have the potential to show up in organic search, and you're able to now your search terms on the back end are aligned with your sponsored ad. So it's a beautiful, beautiful arrangement. If you follow this process, it may seem like a lot at first, but then it just becomes super easy, super, cut and dry. I always say we're the most unromantic marketing company because really we're using Amazon's data to optimize our listings. And just to review very, very quickly, right here, we have our anchor search terms, which is what we built our entire sponsored ad off of. This is what Amazon sponsored ads told us people are looking for, clicking on and buying. Our product name, we encompassed all of our anchor search terms into. Brand name, stay the same. Price, sales price, UPC. Key product features here. We just make them short and sweet, but we still encompass some of our search terms, more for the conversion of the customer, not for the search benefit. Product description, a lot of people like to make it extremely long. I like to make them short and sweet because I think unless a person's buying a $300 eye cream, they really want to just understand what it is in the shortest amount of time and then click on it and buy it. Search terms down here are the most important next to the product title, and we used our search terms or our sponsored ad data to support our search terms, and we build them in logical order. We do repeat, which is directly against the grain of what most people teach, but I have seen Amazon does want to know in relevance what you are wanting to rank for in organic search, and we're just supporting that on the back end. And we can include more over time as we find more. We really didn't have more than 5 performers, so I didn't want to include more than 5 performers in our search term. All right, guys, that's it. I hope that gets you excited, and it concludes how to optimize your listing.